It's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. Off your mind,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call am hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego the politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My egun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My egun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, my ego la wamo do do. My ego diary, my ego number one. Ayégun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó dòdòdò. Ayégun diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Ayégun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Ayégun diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Ayégun diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí. Ayégun diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Máyégún diary politico. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. gbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra jù. Máyégún ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra jù. Máyégún ti dé.
Yeah, brethren, good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Sunday Sermon with Mayegun live. Thank you very much for joining me. Please, after reading the caption of the broadcast, kindly read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. That Mayegun is live. Thank you if you have done that already. So a few days ago, the news broke when one AES general, announced that they have grounded an aircraft belonging to Nigeria. It didn't give too much detail. However, he said this aircraft belonging to Nigeria violated the AES airspace rule or something. So therefore, it will remain in the southern part of the country, right? Then a few hours later, the Nigerian regime, Tinubu, they announced that, oh no, the aircraft only developed mechanical faults, and he just had to make an emergency landing in Burkina Faso because he was on his way. They were on their way to Portugal. So that initially, right? Those who felt like since Nigeria, especially Tinubu, since Nigeria has been hobnobbing with France, and these Sahel countries, right, have been rejecting France so much that they have been paying dearly for it, by the way. So that makes Nigeria, being friends with France, makes Nigeria a potential enemy. And it's not like an enemy they wanted, okay? But it is because the president of Nigeria is an ally of France. And therefore, the interest of France is believed to have become the interest of Nigeria. Even though, technically, Nigeria was supposed to be the big brother of all these countries, okay? But long story. So what was Nigerian aircraft or military aircraft? They call it a transport plane, by the way. It's a cargo plane, okay? So 11 military personnel were on board, and the 11 personnel were, summarily arrested. Now, the information of them being cleared, like I said, a few hours after the arrest. So they announced that they have been cleared, that, it was a little misunderstanding. Diplomatically, it's been sorted, but it's not been sorted. It's been 6 days. And of course, the government of Burkina Faso, especially the government of Burkina Faso, all of them in the AES, right? They, like I said, they consider Nigeria as an hostile country to them, being on the side of France. So they've already forbid Nigeria and some other what have you from using their airspace, anymore. And that was said to be, kind of like them becoming aggressive towards Nigeria too. So this is existing. I want to kind of play ignorance here and at the same time just use the available information. So Nigeria understands the fact that they are not in good rapport with Burkina Faso. And Burkina Faso is no longer the same Burkina Faso that Campore and others ruled before Traore came. Right now, Traore and his own guys have invested so much than Campore ever did. They have invested so much in different, military hardwares with their relationship with France. So Nigeria should know this, right? So the story of the reason why the aircraft stopped in Burkina Faso was because it developed technical fault or mechanical faults. So it had an emergency landing. The story has now changed, not on the part of Nigeria, but on the side of the AES country, starting with Burkina Faso. To them, no. The story is now like, oh yeah, they do not believe that the aircraft actually developed any mechanical fault, because they have now questioned the 11 men on board. And somehow they believe that this aircraft was doing a big geomapping operation for France. Now, you probably have read that on social media as well, right? Now, some will tell you that, no, that's not possible. That doesn't make any sense. None of this actually make any sense to start with. Okay? So, Nigerian military aircraft with 11 men on board, right, flew into the AES airspace without the clearance and whatever, right? And they ended up developing mechanical faults right there and then. Then they had to make an emergency landing. The story doesn't make any sense to me too. So if they had been allowed to leave, like to go a few hours after the news broke, then maybe the story of, oh, they developed mechanical faults, that's why they kept them. Just they had to make an emergency landing. So they are not honest with Nigerians to start with. That is Tinubu's regime, not being honest with Nigerians. But maybe they will say, okay, we can't tell you everything. But right now we are reading a lot. That some would want to convince you they are conspiracy theories, but they are those making sense. This aircraft violated this airspace. They have nothing to do with the country. They have 24 hours, they will be cleared. There will be no reason for Burkina Faso to want to have any confrontation with Nigeria like that. I don't think so. So it's kind of like cheap for the Nigerian foreign minister to come out and say, oh, it was just like a mechanical this or that, de blah, de blah. Only for the Burkina Faso to be telling us right now that, no, they were actually carrying out geomapping, whatever it's called, for France. Because the southern part of Burkina Faso shared borders with the northern part of Benin Republic. And similarly, shared border with, I think, partly northern part of Mali. You get that now. So the way the operation in the last 6 months in the Sahel, for those of you who have been following the news around the place, right? The terrorists in that axis, they call some, they have an ISWAP, they have Boko Haram, they have another new one called the JNIM, something like that, right? Who are wreaking havoc, killing the Malian soldiers, Burkina Faso soldiers, Niger soldiers, and they are killing them too. Now, you see, this axis of Burkina Faso is said to be the area where a lot of movement of military weaponry and all of operations are going on. And that's exactly the area where this Nigerian aircraft flew over. Now, there is no evidence that this C-130, which is just a transport military aircraft, okay, they use that to move heavy weaponry. Sometimes I think they use that to also move personnel too. It's like a cargo plane, a cargo, but military kind. So there is no evidence that the C-130 is fitted with any geomapping, geomapping equipment. But from what is now flying all over the place is that the reason why they did not release 11 military personnel from Nigeria was because they have now been considered as spies. They said this military aircraft, when it was flying over Burkina Faso, the southern part where it later kind of like stopped, right? It already flew over like, Mali and going straight into Burkina Faso, southern part. And it was transmitting live data. Some said that if you're a military person, this won't make any sense. No. You are trying to gaslight us that there is no big deal. That Burkina Faso just... Some are even telling us that, where do you think Burkina Faso will have the equipment to, to kind of like bring down an aircraft? That's why I said that the Burkina Faso, that they took from Kampore is not the same that the Traore have. And there is something about those of them who are the APC Ronukus in Nigeria. I don't know why. They somehow kind of like have this personal nag whenever the name of Ibrahim Traore is mentioned. I don't know, like they have this special nag for him. However, right, there is no evidence of, say, okay, the Burkina Faso just wanted to have a face-off with Nigeria. No. It is now said that 11 Nigerian military personnel, which have not been named, 11, they have been in detention in Burkina Faso in the last 6 days. And not just there, they are extracting intels from that same aircraft. Everything they could get from it, whatever information they believe that have been, you know what I mean? They are extracting everything. And there's a chance, right? Except, of course, when they have any diplomatic dealing, right? Except for that, they are having a trial for them. They're going to put them on trial as spies. And they are being accused of, right, working for France. So you see something there? Yeah? Now you are hearing all of this, and somehow, they are going to make you feel like it's just conspiracy theory. It doesn't make any sense. But what doesn't make any sense? That Shaguri is the confidant of Tinubu. And he's also a very good friend of Macron. And Tinubu, in that sense, has become a resident of France. And right now, there's so many, Tinubu went to France to sign a deal that France will get a special privilege of access to the rare earth minerals in Nigeria. Don't forget, Shaguri is the one who is currently executing the most expensive, project ever embarked upon by Nigeria since your independence. That is the Coastal Highway. It's been executed by Shaguri. Shaguri is involved in this arms deal and all of that as well on behalf of a call. So what is not making any sense? France lost Sahel, and that's not news, right? And the Sahel has probably never known peace since then. However, they are there. They formed their own bloc, removed themselves from the ECOWAS, and they have formed a kind of like a defense, kind of like a defense bloc, where if any is attacked, the rest will join. If any is attacked, the rest will join. So in such a way that they are in this unity because of, decades of France exploitation of these countries. These are open stories. So now, Nigerian aircraft is being held for 6 days, not just the aircraft. Nigeria, do you even understand the meaning of actually having your aircraft, your military aircraft, grounded in another country? And the military personnel is on board, locked up, being interrogated. God knows what they are doing to them. Do you understand what that actually really mean generally? Right? So when you kind of like say, oh no, it's not a big deal. They are just trying to provoke Nigeria. How? As how? You send your military over their operational field to map and take pictures of some of their strategic, strategic military structures and things being, like, are you trying to believe that a lot of people are pretty much like ignorance of some of these, what they call their geopolitics? So the only thing that makes sense is this. If the Nigerian military actually developed mechanical faults, by now, the aircraft would have left that country. It didn't crash, it landed, and they grounded it and arrested everybody on board. But Nigeria wanted to make it look like, no, don't listen to those people saying all these things. It's the protocol, it's the protocol. It's the protocol, right? They're just trying to kind of get them to, you know what I mean? Like, you have your military personnel in detention in another country. And probably right now, behind the scene, a lot of diplomatic, whatever is going on. Do you get me now? But Burkina Faso didn't ask for that. They did not intentionally hunting for Nigerian military jets or anything. No. They were not looking for wahala with Nigeria. Even though Nigeria, what they rejected is what Nigeria welcomed. Now you are you are going to begin to see some of the French companies that will leave all these Sahel countries. They'll begin to find spaces all over Nigeria too. It's part of the Tinubu's deal with them. Was it 2 days ago that they signed another deal that, France will now, they signed an MOU with French government. So France is going to help Tinubu to standardize the tax system next year. You saw that, Abi? So all your data, everything that they are going to collect here and there and all that. So France said they are going to help them. So that's a different conversation though, right? But the only thing that makes sense is that if it was a technical or mechanical issue, they will only be there for a few hours. Diplomatically, they would have cleared that area. And they violated the AES, this and that. Okay, yeah, we are really sorry. It's an emergency. It's an accident, and they kind of see that it's true. So if nothing is found, or if they are satisfied that, in fact, this is not a spy operation, they would have let them, would have allowed them to go. But in this case, no, they didn't. 6 days. Tomorrow is going to be a week that they've been holding them. So yeah, different stories, different news popping up here and there. And the only one that makes sense is the fact that why is Nigeria military jet flying over the Sahel operational base? When I say operational base, it's like the meeting ground. It is around that southern part of Burkina Faso. This is where you have all this. If you have been following, or if you have not been following, that's fine. But if you have been following the news and happenings in these countries, right, you would have seen that the moment Nigeria placed embargo on them, especially in Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, they have invested so much in military hardware. And I'm talking about, most of them are Russians, right? And some of them are also like Chinese. And I'm talking about weapons that even Ghanaians will see them on the road. They stopped using Nigerian ports, started using Ghana ports. And most of their military hardware, if they were not flown, if they didn't fly them in, then they will be properly like shipped down, moved down, and then you will see that long motorcade. When Nigeria and few others, right, decided to sabotage the supposed oil supplies and the rest of this axis, right? You know what they did? They formed a block. So within themselves, right, they will pull out a convoy, trucks of of fuel to all these Sahel countries. What did they start doing? The terrorists started attacking the convoy. They started destroying these trucks, destroying this oil and all that. How do they know? Yeah, there are those who probably have a geo map of the area, but they are not satisfied. Some said that France could see it anywhere in Burkina Faso from space. Fine. If they can see everything from space, okay, then there will be no need for any reason, right, to put any of their boots in anywhere in Africa. Do you know that? Yeah, I know you are going to say, oh yeah, but they still have to put their boots on ground. That is to protect the exploiters, Abi. Well, satellite image is enough. And within a few hours, they can be there, to do whatever they want to do, right? But here is the thing. That is not washing it. You can't hold Nigeria military plane. Baba Agbagbe now. Nigeria can't be like what? A joke to you. I know Nigeria is probably, they've made Nigeria a joke now. No thanks to these guys. Seriously. Some of you can still probably remember the good old days, right? There are some certain things that you can't try with Nigeria. But these days, everybody seems to have seen enough. And somehow, those who could take advantage of the Nigeria's vulnerability, they do. Because you now have attention seekers, so to say, somebody who wanted validation as the president of the country. So he will pander to anyone, koto to anyone, as long as they can probably just acknowledge him as president. That's Tinubu. And that's exactly what is playing out here. Your fellow Africans, who I actually believe, he call himself a Pan-African too, right? A progressive. That's Tinubu. It should be somebody who is very much conversant with the histories of all these countries, and including that of Nigeria and colonialism. So it shouldn't probably be somebody that would understand that these countries are tired of the exploitation of these colonialists, right? So the big brother of the continent, supposedly, even the big brother who is also their neighbor, who should know better, decided to, partner with the same exploiters, right? And in this case, he is willing to fight their war in the name of Nigeria, to further alienate Nigerians with their neighbors. There's so much they've actually ruined. That's why when you ask them, what is Tinubu's foreign policy? What is Tinubu's foreign policy for Africa? What is Tinubu's foreign policy for the world? They can't really give you anything. All these ambassadors that Paul is putting together, right? Compensating with this ambassadorial, what have you, yeah? Ask them, what is the policy of Tinubu for all these countries they want to go to? What is Nigeria's mission there? Kind of, they have nothing. Everybody will just have to develop one thing and say, this is my own project. So Tinubu's policy is to fight the French war for them, so that France won't have to need to do anything anymore. They've got a bigger fish, and that's Nigeria. And they still have their eyes on their former colonists. Their former colonial territories. Right now, the same terrorists that are terrorizing Nigeria, terrorizing Burkina Faso, terrorizing Niger, terrorizing Mali, Chad, right? They are also terrorizing Benin Republic. The northern part of Benin Republic, the Benin soldiers are dying almost every day too. Same complaints, right? Poor pay, poor intel, no morale, corruption in the military, and on like that. But yet, it's more or less like the facade, the fake democracy, which is what they use in disguise, by the way. So they have their lackeys, they have their puppets. In this case, Nigeria is probably the bigger puppets right now, willing to fight their war, to remove those who disagree with them from power and keep those who agree with them, in power. And what is that agree or disagree with them? Just let the status quo continue. That was truncated 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago, right? And since then, it's been one misfortune after misfortune when it comes to France in Africa. So Nigeria featuring in all of this and leading to this level of disgrace and embarrassment, international disgrace, should be questioned, man. People should kind of ask questions, man. Right. However, if we take it to the next side, inside Nigeria itself, where Nigeria is willing to send military, send soldiers, we have, I don't know, the number of soldiers they've sent to Benin Republic right now. And the level of, promptness. And they're actually pressing Nigeria right now. Yeah, France, Benin Republic, ECOWAS, the same ECOWAS that witnessed the entire desecration of the democratic altar across this West Africa by these dictators, democratic dictators, until some of them lost out of power, coup here, coup there, and all of that, right? So the same ECOWAS is so happy that Nigeria could promptly, within few hours, send in aircraft, fighter jets. They agreed that they had to destroy some of the Benin Republic's military posts so that these guys, the coupists, would not lay their hands on those weapons. You got what I mean? They actually said that Nigeria flew to the Niger Republic, blew some of their military positions or military formations where they have armories, right? Destroyed them, went back to Nigeria. Then, mobilized a troop. These troops are not going to Benin Republic to chase terrorists. They are going to Benin Republic to provide security for the government there. Protect the government, not the country. Like we have in Nigeria. You have a lot of soldiers, and you'll be so surprised that from their top rank to some level, right, their own mandate is Kolu's mandate. Well, now. But their mandate seems to have always been to protect the regime under under what comes may. Protect the regime. Do you understand? Now, Nigerian soldiers are going to be receiving the same probably hatred that people have for their own government transferred to them too, right? So you see, in all of this, you ask yourself that, okay, what is this Tinubu's foreign policy? Is France, or did France write Tinubu's foreign policy for West Africa? That right now they are not looking at the destruction that these guys are doing in their different countries. They are doing to opposition. They are doing to the same democracy. But because they are on the side of those we call the exploiters, they are puppets. On the side of the exploiters, automatically gives them, a kind of immunity. It is the day they decided to go the other way, then suddenly the colonizers will be like, no, you've been a very bad government. We need to get rid of you now. But if you can always let them have what they want. And what do they want? That they have not actually been accessing anyway. What do you think they want? Kolu signed off an MOU that French companies should go to Nigeria and have access to rare earth minerals. So they have that on their plates. Another fugitive, Shaguri, is living in France. He's a billionaire. He's currently executing over $13 billion worth of road contracts under Kolu in Nigeria. So what do you think they want that they don't already have? That they still pretty much, they don't have in Nigeria, that they still want to keep the entire region burning as it's been, man. If you see the destructions that the terrorists in this axis are doing in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Benin Republic, in Niger, if you see what they are doing, I'm talking about not just the killings of the civilians. So I'm talking about the level at which the carnage they are wrecking on the military formations, soldiers that they are killing in that axis weekly. Fear will catch you, but they are not giving up, because to them they believe that all these guys are harmed by the who. You get what I mean? Like, if they wanted to help them, they would help to disarm these terrorists and get rid of them. But because the government in power, they are not in time with the government. In good time with the government in power. So therefore, let the country burn, or better still, start a civil war or another coup or something, anything. They don't care. And the supposed big brother, Nigeria, is actually now like the big toddler that that is swinging to wherever they want it to swing to, right? So 11 Nigerian military men are still in detention in Burkina Faso. Yeah. And right now, the impression they are giving us is that this was not just a C-130 aircraft, military transportation, military transport plane, right? So they are telling us that they know it's more than that. Burkina Faso is not saying much. It's more or less like they are maintaining their own internal, like law and prosecution and what have you in dealing with this. Nigeria, on the other hand, they dropped the lumber and they just went straight to sleep. Now, media is not asking them, like, this is day 6. What happened to this 11? What is the name of this 11 military personnel on board? Nobody is asking. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be, oh yeah, maybe another 2 weeks. They will say, oh, they finally reached an agreement. They won't tell you the agreement, because it will have to be them paying ransom to bail those people out of that place. Now, the situation must have gotten to that stage now. Come on, like 6 days for mechanical faults. In Apangolo, they were flying in here. What do you think? So they would have to pay ransom to get them out. And that ransom probably would be in cash in order to save face. Well, contrary to that, they'll say, you know what? If a judge should pronounce them guilty of spying on the country, so what will happen next is just going to be to negotiate their release. Negotiating their release comes with a price. It's not just going to be, nah. It does. And then that's it. We're just going to have to read about it somewhere later that, oh yeah, it's true. Those guys were spies. But, you know, or better still, France is working around the clock to throw these guys out of power. And what is it that they want to do again? For example, like what exactly is France missed in doing for these countries in the last 60 years that they just remember that, oh, they have to do now? I mean, come on. They say enough. We have had enough of you. You've not treated us right. Just let it go. So you get, why can't they just let it go? They continue to say, oh, this Sahel is very strategic. It's a very strategic, part of what? Of what you've been taking for decades that has never benefited them. Anyway, that is on Burkina Faso. There is more. For those of you who have been watching the news, right? 2 days ago, okay, let's stay in Nigeria a bit before we go somewhere else, okay? 2 days ago, Umahi, the former governor of Ebonyi State, the current minister for works, I've been a minister of works under Tinubu, has come out to, for the second time, by the way, or maybe the second time I'm actually hearing him say it, that the Igbos don't want Biafra anymore. That the reasons why the Igbos wanted Biafra was because the last government marginalized the Igbos. So under Tinubu has now addressed that. He has integrated the Igbos into Nigeria. Apart from appointments, Tinubu has started nearly 1 trillion naira project in eastern part of Nigeria on roads alone. So the Igbos now feel welcomed. They now see that there is a renewed hope, and therefore they don't want Biafra anymore. I didn't say it. I'm going to let you hear it. I mean, hear it from him directly. Let's go to Umahi.
In the past administration, our people felt very much marginalized more than they were ever marginalized. And that was the reason the people were agitating for Biafra. But I can say today that we are well integrated into the mainstream of the nation Nigeria. And so we are very grateful to President Bello Matawalle. There will be no need for Biafra again. We are comfortable with President Bello Matawalle. We are very happy with the integration. Look at this road. For more than 15 years, it has been one government will come and just do something and go. But the section being done MTN, under RCC, is going to be completed by February, fully and total, and it's costing us 202 billion. This remaining section is being done by SKCC. It's 72 kilometers, 150 billion, 30% already paid. And you can see the joy of it. And the joy of the building of road by president all over the country is that these roads will stay over 50 years to 100 years. You can see the concrete road is ongoing, it's just like the coastal highway. And you go to Enugu, Port Harcourt, 4 sections of the roads ongoing. You go to Anambra, you see Owerri Onisha, project ongoing. You go to Second Niger Bridge, section 2B, the project is ongoing. That's 176 billion. You go to Enugu now, you see the Artisan Bridge, finished, dusted, and they delivered. You go to the Depot Junction, the biggest flyover in Southeast is going on there, and that is President Bello Matawalle. And you see Enugu Abakaliki, 183 billion. That project is ongoing. What about the legacy project of the president? We have the third one. And as of today, 424 billion is been paid, it's been awarded, and that is for section 123 kilometers running from the Ifelodun beach in Ebonyi State and going to Benue border. These are the reasons why I say we do not have any reason again to agitate for Biafra. He that has started this great and beautiful thing, President Bello Matawalle, he will continue it. Even those that don't want us to take a rightful position as Southeast people, God has opened the time. This is our time. And this is the time that God has sent President Bola Tinubu to reintegrate our people. And we are very happy. It is not all about appointments. And even if you come to appointments, this Minister of Works, this minister that the president is using to do works in all the political zones, the Southeast is benefiting very well. We cannot be the first, and yet we are not the last. But in the past, we are not just the last. We were forgotten, we were not remembered. But the president has done that. So, my brothers and sisters, we cannot retake our rightful position by sentiments and phenomenal statements. It is by realities and being strategic. And supporting President Bola Tinubu is being strategic. The governor of Enugu State coming over to APC is being strategic. Our dear governors are doing very, very well in South. My governor in Ebonyi State, we have this culture of working without commissioning. And that's what the governor has continued. But he's doing very beautiful work. You go to Abia, you see the great work that that person is doing. And of course, it's my cousin. Development and commitment to the will of the people, such runs in our veins. And so I commend him very highly. Our own leader, the governor of Imo State, is doing extremely very, very well. Very proud of his last economic summit. He's a very great mobilizer and a developer. And of course, Soludo, the Anambra solution. So we have every reason. And there is none of these people that is not supporting the president. But we will give him votes and compete with other zones so that we will seal our reintegration and take our rightful position.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
Umahi. They all talk, they all say a lot. I mean, I have seen him all over the place, by the way, okay? Let's give that to him. I have seen him like all over the country. And he's been there to to inaugurate road repair and what have you, except for a few places where they are starting new construction. Okay, so yeah, I've seen him all over the place. So if he's saying that if Tinubu is constructing all the roads he mentioned in the eastern part of Nigeria, then there should be so many of you who have seen that. Abi? So do you think if they construct all the roads, all the federal roads in the eastern part of Nigeria, that should be enough to never want to be Biafra, no? Just asking. I know some of you are already abusing him, but I'm just asking. What will make you not want to be Biafra again? Like for real? If you have the option of, let Nigerians conduct referendum, okay? If they still want to be part of Nigeria or not. So let every region conduct their own. And you, as an Igbo man or woman, be honest, or nobody go beat you. Now social media, nobody go beat you. Just say your mind, though. So do you think if they construct all the roads, all the federal roads in the eastern part of Nigeria, that's enough, right? Or is that a start? Nah. I don't know what will make you probably not want it, though. There are those who don't want it, right? And you can respect them. And positions actually do change as well, right? Somebody can say, I don't like it, it's, and then he's tutored, educated, and it's like, oh, I never thought of that, right? Yeah. So there are so many things that could actually make you consider possibly staying with Nigeria. The first one is that regional system of government, which in itself can be framed as a confederation. Confederation means each regions that agree to form their own, you know what I mean, government of this region or that particular one, can choose their own internal constitutions, the form of kind of like a, governance they want to do, the type of assembly they want to run, the type of government they want to run. Yeah, they can, including the type of internal security they also want to put in place. I mean, you can start with that. People have said that, listen, one of the reasons why this contraption is not working is because people were not really part of the entire arrangement, and they were never given the chance to be part of that arrangement. So an average Igbo man will still be part of any other. If Nigeria breaks up tomorrow, you still see millions of Igbos doing their different businesses in these new countries. Do you understand? So the point here is that if you want to make people to stop saying we don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore, right? You have to actually allow them to govern themselves, which include protecting themselves. That is something that if you bring it to the table, somehow, some people will become so triggered, enraged. If you allow international flights to the eastern part of Nigeria, they may begin to import weapons, preparing for war. Politicians are saying that they are not from the eastern Nigeria. That's how Nigeria is right now. If you allow the eastern part of Nigeria to have access to the sea, right? Dredge the river Niger, build a massive port there for their own. No. If they have access to the sea, they are going to probably begin to amass weapons to start another war. There are people in Nigeria of today who still have that mentality. So therefore, it is unwritten, the eastern part of Nigeria will never have their own port. If they build any fake one for them there, it will never be operational. So they will never have international airports. They will call it international, but it won't be international in the real sense of it. There's a reason for that. There's so many things that they have deliberately, intentionally, right, put a ceiling on when it comes to the eastern part of Nigeria. Mind you, as they were doing, they're doing the same thing all over the place, but in a different form, in a different way. Do you understand? People can become anything. Tanzania, from what I heard though, Tanzania, is it Tanzania being Ethiopia? Okay, I'm always like confused with both, right? Tanzania, Ethiopia. One of them, anyway, is considered as one of the most populated countries in Africa too, about 92 million or thereabouts. They're quite massive, right? But they do not, and it's also considered as one of the most developed countries in Africa. Beautiful. Yeah. They do not have this access to this massive sea like you have there in this river Niger. You know that Onitsha and river Niger, they are next to each other, right? And that was meant to be dredged. And international ships could actually sail in and land there. That was the project of federal government of Nigeria. And it's been like that. It's been their project for more than maybe 4 or 5 decades. I'm telling you. It was never to be dredged. It was never to be developed, because what if they start importing their weapons to come and fight Nigeria again? People with that mindset are in power in Nigeria. And somehow maybe they are even transferring it, because most of the people with this mindset, most of them are dead, who were in power, who put this in place. So an average Igbo politician, right, is not different from an average Yoruba politician or an average Hausa or Fulani politician. They are all using their own ethnic nationality as a meal ticket. It's like a ticket to get access to the table so that they can sit down and say, my people are happy, Mr. President. My people are very happy with you. We are building roads now. We are building, what are they building again? We are renovating the one single gauge rail track from northern Nigeria, Maiduguri to Abakaliki. So the Igbos are going to be happy. Mr. President, you are doing great job. Same thing they told Bokwari for 8 years. Bokwari was killing the young Igbos in Igbo land, right? The Igbo politicians were praising Bokwari. They were giving him chieftaincy titles. He was frequently visiting the old places of Dimba in Nimbo. Here you go. They kept dressing him as, in Isiagu and all of that. Believing that, they continue to tell me that nobody loved Igbos more than Bokwari. Bokwari loved Igbos. Today, Bello Matawalle is saying that it is because Bokwari marginalized the Igbos. That was why they were asking for Biafra. So Tomorrow, another person is going to say, let's say maybe Atiku is your president, right? Somebody is going to say later, say Atiku loved the Igbo so much that he's the only person who is doing the right thing for another Igbo politician. So, and similarly, you see Yorubas that will tell you that the Yorubas they are so blessed under this, so and so. None of them represent the people. Just remember that. So if people are asked, there will be a percentage of Igbos that will say no. Those asking for Biafra, they should know that Biafra is gone. There's no more Biafra, this or that. You guys see, they have that mindset. But I don't think they are in the majority. And that's the reason why they are so afraid to throw out a referendum on it. I mean, you do know what a referendum is, right? Referendum is like election. No? Those of you who want Biafra, you will be campaigning. You'll be convincing people what is going to be about. You know what I mean, right? Those who don't want Biafra, they will be campaigning. A day of election will come. People will go and choose yes or no. Should you know that the election could be bought in Nigeria? I participated in a referendum, independent referendum in Scotland. Okay? I actually campaigned for yes. Right? Scotland should have independence out of the UK. So it was very tight. We're going to win. Yeah, we're going to win. Because, so that's how I got the idea of how this referendum things goes and works and the election around it, as well as the corruption around it, you know what I mean? The rigging and all that, right? Shit happened, right? Because suddenly, big companies, all these massive, what do you call them? All these big firms, they were all interested. You know what I mean? Like, no, if Scotland go, all the old people, they said, Scotland is out of this union, right? Scotland is the one with the population of the oldest people in the UK. So meaning a sizable number of Scottish, right? They are old. So if Scotland should break up, their pension, something is going to happen. Their pension is insured by the Bank of England or something. So you get so for life. So there is no guarantee. So they convinced us here then that they were giving us extra subvention. That Scotland is making so amount of money for the union, and Scotland is taking back. For example, like you have Sokoto. Say Sokoto is contributing. No, sorry. Let me use a region now. Let's say northeast is contributing 20 billion naira to Nigeria, but they are cashing out over 400 billion, something like that. Here you go. So they have painted the picture that and our pensioners, old people, there are so many. They were afraid. They didn't want to lose their pension. They were like real Scottish people. They love Scotland. They want to. So that's what the campaign was all about. They say it was fear mongering. It was this or that, but it was their life. Do you understand? They say your life is better together than for you to go and have Scotland. So when the referendum campaign comes, those of you who are pro-Biafra, you will fight and convince the old, the young, everybody, why everything will happen in Biafra. Why those ones who wanted Nigeria, they will also use Nigeria and so you get that they will bring out fake data, good data, original, to convince people not to go with you. That is what is called referendum. But yet, they are still afraid to even give it a shot. Because when you look at the Biafrans and then this marginalization since after Gowon said, no winner, no vanquish, right? Generation after generation have realized that, no, in fact, there is a systemic profiling. And they may pretend or live in denial for a while, but sometimes they will come to the reality and they will become agitated. So, I don't think money or lies or anything, propaganda can stop them from not voting yes for Biafra. That's why they didn't try it. You get what I mean? It's not people like the Umahi. It's not people like, it's like somebody saying Tinubu loves Yoruba nation, the rest of that. I'm like, shut up your mouth, man. You don't treat what you like or you love like that. You know that. So they are not the people that will speak for you and me. But they are those who are currently using me and you as their meal tickets. you know, they are cosplaying. They are like pretending to be us, to you know, to care for us, but they don't. Even when they have all the power to make a huge difference, they still like, you know, they still blow it. And it's always intentional. I mean, I don't think they are in the better position to speak for you and I. I'll leave you to that one. Last 2 weeks or thereabout, we have been witnessing the incessant kidnappings, you know, from the churches or communities being ransacked, especially in this north central, Kogi and Kwara in particular, the Ifelodun local government area 2 nights ago. Some soldiers caught some suspected, terrorists, because that's what I call them. So they were caught with weapons and ammunition and what have you. And while they were being questioned in Yoruba, I think they said, well, they were sent by, not sent, they were armed by government officials, Kwara State government official. What's the name of that official? That part is not probably made public. It's not disclosed. But you know what people said, that if terrorism or if a crime or something lasted for more than a day, then the government is more than 24 hours, then the government is likely involved, right? It's just going to be like the last we're going to hear from these ones. Of these ones, we may never hear from them again. Or we may not even hear about this anymore. But this was 2 nights ago.
Kunde da nan. To me aka yi can ya ba ku mota. Nan da wata uku, ka ce nan da wata uku.
Aiki ne muke yi da su.
Wani yin aiki?
Patrol.
Daga nan ku je can ku patrol? Kwara State?
Wallahi.
Na fuel I dey put for na body o. Na fuel I dey put for na body. Talk true now. Na fuel I dey put for body. Talk true, make you no die. Na fuel I dey put for body.
Ilori government na give us this motor.
So the weapon you go give now?
Some of them are them.
You dey look at na fuel I dey put for body.
Wallahi na problem. Even you go Kogi here.
You go Abuja go collect the weapon.
Babangida, yes.
Now for Abuja you go collect the rifle, na for Ilorin. How you take no say na from Abuja?
Me, I know because we there with them. We go patrol how many times with them. We go patrol how many times with them. Oga Bito and Tinja. All of them they involved. Now their weapon. Oga Tinja. Now their weapon. Not our own.
Okay.
Not our own. Not our own. Wallahi, not our own.
No, wala now.
Now that things are not their own.
We'll go and pick all of them.
Oga Victor. It was one Oga Victor. You know, we got that there from Ilorin. Government official. The Minister of Defense, Bello Matawalle, has been accused again and again and again. No, not accused. He has been exposed as a sponsor, financier of these terrorists as well, even when he was a governor, under the cover of amnesty for terrorists. He's rolled out billions of naira in funding them. So 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Bello Turji is declared wanted, but they have actually declared him killed 4 times. Yeah, that they've killed Bello Turji, but he's just not dead. Okay. So about 2 weeks ago, it came out when there's a report that somebody who was an advisor to Bello Matawalle, when Bello Matawalle was governor of Zamfara State, this was just about 2019 to 2023. So Bello Matawalle had one advisor who is also known to have been an Hamora for Fulani terrorists, who was kind of like mentioned, not by the media, not by the people, but by Bello Turji himself. And he said, yeah, Matawalle funded him. Then they broke up. So Matawalle now became minister, only for Matawalle to now be funding another terror group and then using the federal government military to be hunting him and killing his people. He said that. Oh, Baba, that's how you're going to know, say, these guys are like, the bomb, man. I don't know how Bello Matawalle now called Bello Turji the terrorist. Bello Turji now came out just yesterday, and started defending Bello Matawalle. Now here, the first one, this one was, I think this is the one for 2 weeks ago, telling everybody that Bello Matawalle is looking for him, right? And simply because he no longer work for him.
Sunana Muhammadu Bello Turji a arewa maso yammacin Najeriya. Na joni da ake ce ma Mustapha Sarkin Kaya, na fito na yi magana bidiyo, na ce gwamnatin Zamfara da ta gabata ya ce mina ne gata tsohon gwamna sheri ne aka yi me to me ta babu ana mai sheri ko me ta babu gaskiya abu in ka je ka bincika in ma baka san ma'ana abun ba. Abun da muka ce dan mai gari kanan bashari ne uwa ɗai uba ɗai, kuma mun ce dan ta'adda ne kuma yana rike da bindigogi kuma yana zanne dajin Maradun. To kai in baka da masaniya duk 'yan Najeriya sun sani, duk duniya ta sani an taɓa wani abu ƙaya wanda ya ɗaure ma duk duniya kai. Duk mai hankali ya san an yi shi kuma ya san ya faru. Wa ya sace 'yan matan ƙayan Maradun? Lokacin da an ka kwashe su aka kai su daji aka yi garkuwa da su, wa ya sace su? Kai ya ka sace su koko ni? Sai tambayar ka muke yi, tunda ka ce bashari ba dan ta'adda ba ne, tsohon gwamna bai da sa hannu, to tambayar ka muke yi, gare ka an so su koko gare ni? Mu mun ce bashari ya an so mutane kuma ga kane ne wanga dan mai gari sun ka an so mutane, kuma duk duniya ta san an sace yan makarantar kayan Maradun. To bindigogin da aka sace yan matan kayan Maradun suna hannun wa? Ka ce bashari na tare da jami'an tsaro na tursasa ma Turji shine yan matsu. To in tambaye ka inga kake dabba jahili, me ya taba kawo maku bindigatawa? Ya faɗi guda wanda taba kawo maku. Tafiye nike, ina nike zuwa, ina yadda me ni. Faɗa mani cikin Najeriya in ga haka so in zo iyo ma lalura. Kai da jahili ne baka ma san kai ba. Ka fahimta ko? Mu abunda mun ka ce bashari yana da daba daji kuma tana kai ma Zamfara da Kaduna da Sokoto hari, kuma ba ka da dama ƙaryata wannan maganar. Tunda in kana da dama bindigogin bashari da aka dan mai gari ka anshe su ka kai ma bashari, ka anshe su ka ba gwamnati. Kuma mun ce gwamnan Zamfara tunda ya ce ya yi sulhu da bashari ma ne hito ma 'yan jarida da kowa inga Kabiru ya bada makaman shi a yi magana don ba ka so a faɗi gaskiya. Mun ce Kabiru dan ta'adda ne, mu na fatattake shi, amma gwamnati ta je ta bashi matsuguni, kuma shi ne mu ba zargi ba ne muke dimon gare mu, kai ka zargi. Sunana Haza Salamu, na gode Muhammadu Bello Turji. Duk wani mai tababa ya je ya bincika, kuma akwai wani bature da aka sata a yankin Mafara. Waya?
Don't worry, no be your fault. You get me? It is not your fault. Then yesterday, the same Bello Turji, obviously, Matawalle, which is Matawalle, has been running from pillar to post, paying influencers, especially these northern influencers, to start portraying him as innocent, that those who are accusing him of being friends with the terrorists, they are just trying to tarnish his image because he's doing a wonderful job with Tinubu. How do you aim to actually end terrorism and you brought in somebody who is in bed with terrorists? It's not like a strategy. If it was a strategy, then it's not working. You know what I mean? But why would you do that? The Bello Turji terrorist came out to come and defend. He said, no, Matawalle never gave him money. In fact, they've never met, No, hang on. I think he said they met, but he never gave him money. Something like that. Because this language barrier is also a problem. Sure you get. This was a Bello Turji, just shortly.
Mun shaida ne ka gani da ni da mu CD mun je mun ga Matawalle ido amma wallahi ni Matawalle bai ban miliyan 3 ba. Ina iya rantsewa da Qur'ani wallahi tallahi bai ba mu ba. Amma ka zo ka ce miliyan 30 wallahi ƙarya kake. Anan ƙarya kake wannan gabar. To kuma dussa da kake magana sulhu aka ce an yarjejeniya ba mai sake taɓa ne aka ba kwamitin ku na makiyaya ku sai mu da dussa kuma duk buhu abin da an ka baka nawa ni baka naira 650 kenan kyauta aka baka ka dussa kai Alai Musa ka ji tsoron Allah ka faɗi gaskiya abin da ka sani wannan ba mai dorewa ba ce wannan duniya ko ban ma ita aka kashe Matawalle ba ni abun da za ka zo ka dawwama ba ne ka fahimta ko abin da muke son ba mu fahimta in yan ta'adda aka yi bida kai Alai Musa ai ubanka ake kamowa tsohon gwamnan jihar Sokoto mu muna da cece kutancewa da shi da Yarima su duk bala'in da an ka haddasa a jihar Zamfara da Sokoto a kama su ba da labarin waye ya sare ruggagen mutane Fulani waye ya kirkiri yan banga waye ya kirkiri wadanda ke kashe Fulani Alai Musa Kamaradi wa ka sani na san ka bari in tambaye ka a gidanku da kake zaune Isa Local Government a kilomita 1 da gidanku baka san yammacin dan gwandi akwai mashekar hillani wanda ake kira Malasaba uban kai sai fa aka sari baka san binga bale ba uban kai sai aka sari baka san rai mace ba uban kai sai aka sari baka san tusa biri ba duk gabati Isa ne dake wannan magana Alai Musa kuma haka ce akwai wani da kari kiti da Zamfara wanda ya wuce uwayenku subhanallahi wa iyazu billahi to lokacin da babu Matawalle a mulki lokacin wannan shehi wake ɗaukar nauyin mu fa mun zo daga rabbil alamin ne ka fahimta ko kuma kai ka sani ba wani mutum mai ɗaukar nauyin mu in sheri za ku to mu ba a siyasa da mu kuma ba mu tare da yan siyasa mun zo daga inda Allah ne ka fahimta ko ba haɗa kai da ni a wani shar Matawalle ya cuce ni kuma na bashi da rabbil alamin mun shaida ne ka gani da ni da mu CD mun je mun ga Matawalle ido amma wallahi ni Matawalle bai ban miliyan 3 ba ina iya rantsewa da Qur'ani wallahi tallahi bai ba mu ba.
So that's Turji denying ever collecting 30 million naira from Matawalle. Okay. Yes, they've met in the government house, the blah, so person was there, yeah, and all that. Okay. So he's not had any financial relationship with the minister. So I like to lie, and that means swear by the name of God. Terrorist. Yeah. That means they watch, they see everything just like everyone else, while the government believes that they are invincible. Minister of Communication, Bosun Tijani, made a joke of himself on TV yesterday when he was with Shehu Okimbaloye. And it was kind of like asking him that, hey, man, people have been asking, why is it so difficult for the government, the security agents, right? Agencies, to track down these terrorists who usually make calls to the victims, families for ransom and all that. Like, why is it so kind of hard? You know what the minister said? Somebody who was said to have been brought from the, tech bros community, right? Somebody who was said to have also built a kind of like a tech solution. Like he's one of those, who are so like technologically kind of like vast. They will use technology to help Tinubu to make Nigeria better. So they made him the Minister of Communication, the guy in charge of all communications, phone calls, text messages, emails, faxes, what else? Communication generally. And all the technology that surrounds it. He's been preaching about AI, AI this, AI that. They want to build AI. Google want to come and build AI in Nigeria. AI this, AI that. You demand, Baba, answer the question. You know what he said? He said, the terrorists, they are using the foreign network. They are using foreign numbers that it is very hard to track. So when you But I can't describe it. It's one kind of mumu talk, okay? But yeah.
Living in those places. So the profit opportunity for them is not significant. So we want to go there and invest in towers so that we can connect our people and ensure that no one is left behind.
Quickly, let's close on this. Sure. And I'll take you on the issue of how your ministry, the interception between your ministry and national security.
Absolutely.
There are reports of kidnapping and using unregistered or fraudulently registered SIMs. Why do these SIMs still exist in the system despite the NIN SIM linkage policy of Nigeria?
I cannot. So what you've put to me is whether it's fact to you, I don't know where you're getting that from, and I don't know who has that evidence that there are people with SIMs that are not registered.
We just imagine that with BVN, with NIN, these guys are making calls. We should be able to track them.
It's more technical than that. It's more technical than that. There was an exercise that was conducted by the telcos to clean out all SIMs. The reason why the president actually pushed us to invest in towers in those areas was the fact that we realized that there was a special kind of technology that they were using to call. They weren't using the normal towers. They bounce calls off multiple towers. When they leave, that's why they enjoy living in areas where it's unconnected at all. And when we're talking about these things, it's why we're upgrading the 2 satellites we have, that if our towers are not working, our satellites will work, because Nigeria is the only country in West Africa with satellites, with communication satellites. We're now bringing new satellites to upgrade the capabilities of those. Is why we're investing in the fiber. Is also living in those places.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
Chegbowiri. Terrorists are using network that is now bouncing. They are using bouncing network. They kidnap people, use their phones to make calls. Their phones, they are using the victims' phones to take pictures, to send to their family members, using the contact on their phones. What is he talking about? That they want to go and mount mast, towers. Now that's the communication minister. Meanwhile, communication is mainly, communication in this sense, right? It's not just the phone calls and all of that. There are so many interceptions that could be made, right? They have technology to actually intercept calls that comes with some certain keywords. There are even those who are using the satellite phones and the rest of them. There are military-grade interception or technology that can intercept any calls for national security. You get me now? The terrorists are communicating. People are going into town to register SIM cards for terrorists. Yeah. I mean, we've had some of them, some of them have been arrested with some of the stuff they got from them, guns, weapons, ammunitions, and, all those series of things, including mobile phones. These mobile phones have SIM cards, Nigerian SIM cards in them. What is the Minister of Communication talking about? The reason why we can't track them is because they are using a foreign network. A foreign network installed in Nigeria. Our Nigerian government is not aware. You mean Nigerian government can't actually terminate any form of unwanted or foreign or alien kind of installation in their country. So that is the Minister of Communication. And that is why there is no help coming. There is no solution coming. Except if Donald Trump acts. And some of you would want him to act. Riley was in Nigeria, of course, and he's been speaking to the media since he got back to the US. Remember the person that Donald Trump actually mentioned when he was giving that speech of coming to precisely take out the terrorists, right? His name is Riley, Congressman Riley. He was in Nigeria. He led the delegation, Trump's delegation, on what they call the fact-finding mission, right? To Nigeria. So they went to Benue State. He didn't bother going to another state. Bro, they said the stories they have been told in America, sound somehow unbelievable to people there and all of that. But yet, a lot of people got this emotional attachment because they've met some of the victims, they've heard interviews and the rest of that, right? But all in America. But never really meet the real victims back in Nigeria. You get what I mean? So he went on a fact-finding mission because Donald Trump said they should do all of their investigation and get back to him with their reports. And then he will go on to the next stage of his action. So far, so good. It's looking more or less like for Tinubu, it's looking like, okay, they've struck a deal with Donald Trump's America, which includes military exchanges and blah, military hardware exchanges and all of that. But with Riley's experience, the guy won't almost cry on TV. He said he met the survivor, somebody who they killed 5 of our children, and then our husband, another woman, right? They killed 3 of her children. They killed her and her unborn child, which means she's pregnant. Like, she saw people, survivors, who were sharing their personal story, and they all said the same thing. The government doesn't give a damn. Like, as the visiting Congress people could see themselves. You know what I mean? So that may be maybe that would be something you could look forward to in 2026. But as it stands right now, okay, clowns, court jesters, praise singers, incompetent fellows who are just right there to sing the praises of the emperor. But who's going to tell the emperor that he's naked? Because here we go, he's naked. Okay, but they are there praising him like, oh my God, you are just so amazing. That's all they wanted him to hear. And I think that's what he wanted to hear too. Because these characters, like Omo, complain about old people, see, they are just old people, very greedy old people. Now you have younger people who are pretty much like worse off, you know? But yeah, that's the position that you had Issa pandemic, remember? Yeah, Issa pandemic, Issa Patantami. That was your former communication minister, okay? At the same time, that one bought some of the technology to track calls, to track this and track that too. Only for them to be tracking Nigerians that are called Bokwari dog. Or that so Nigerians that name their dogs Bokwari or Buhari, that names their dogs Buhari. They could track them. If you said anything on social media, they could track you within 24 hours, but never to track this terrorist. Never. So somebody said they are using a tower that is bouncing call. But God damn it, man. Mr. President said they should clear all the SIM card. What does that even mean? Clear all the SIM card in Nigeria. Like, terrorists are still operating. And all you have to do is just to have people who are actually willing to go after the terrorist. Not those who give excuses for us and say, you know that if we go in there, we are going to kill the victim. Okay. Here are the potential victims, you know. This one, so I'm still grateful a little bit, right? That it hasn't turned violence, okay? But not everyone is that lucky. This one's.
Yeah, good morning, it's about the farmers. So guys, you guys have seen it now. The farmer's greatest fear is just coming to existence now. What you have always been afraid of, what you have always been the farmer's greatest fear. These Fulani people are flawed. They are the most dangerous people in farming. That is the most unluckiest thing that will happen to a farmer. Quick flood, the flood come quick. And if these Fulani people enter your farm, that is the most unluckiest thing that always happen to farmers. So they are here again, destroying our farm, being in people's farm. But this particular place they are now, it's true that there's no crop there, but you can see that place that the Aboki man is standing. There's something there. That is someone's cassava farm. In the right side of it, you see a woman standing there. That is my mom, because this is front of my place. I'm standing in my house right now. I'm capturing them. So we just need help. Please. You can see how my mom is begging the man. Let them follow corner. But the man insisted that they will follow the middle of the farm. And we have already planted pepper in it now. And the pepper is now germinating. And the man insisted that they will follow there. So this is very bad. Please just make this video to help.
If people are seeing it, people are seeing it. Look at this small boy now. They're asking him question. Which side do people want to pass? Look at him there. He does not want to answer. They want to carry their cow and pass our farm again, just like they did yesterday. You are seeing him. Look at that small boy over there. These people are not hearing word, though. They are not hearing word. They are not hearing word. Look at this small boy. This small boy that is not even that is not even up to my younger brother's age. Only that is with Kala and Kolas. That is the only thing. But if not, I can beat this boy like 3 of him. They are not even. They cannot even stand to fight me. So you people are seeing. Look at how they are entering people's farm now. You will be asking them questions. They will not even answer you. People need to do something about it too.
Yeah, good day on the support in the farm. So
Farmer said, "What's nightmare?" You know, and there are so many. Like those who are still managing to farm. There are those who have already been killed. There are those who have run away from their farms and land, completely become homeless in IDP camps. But for those who are still, trying their best to at least farm, they are confronted with all of that. And that's the easiest part, to sit down there and watch it and imagine it and the rest of that. But people are actually experiencing, those are real life victims. In a local government, local government, in fact, there's a village, right? They call it Kadaba. I've been a Kadadaba. No, that's not how they pronounce it. Yeah. Kadadaba, a village in Anka local government area in Zamfara state. They also witnessed the terrorist invasion, where, according to them, they woke up one morning, this morning, and their entire farm was burned down because, the terrorists came overnight. They were shooting and all of that, but this time they didn't come into the town to kill. They just went straight to their farms and they burned down the whole, what have you. I'll show you. I'll show you that later. However, this afternoon, in fact, it was actually morning here, but it was afternoon in Sydney, Australia, in case you have seen that already, right? When 2 or more gunmen, opened fire on, a group of, they call them the Australian Jews, the Israelis living in Australia, so to say. So they were having their Shanuka or Anaka, which is like their own annual celebration of something in their country, right? So it's celebrated all over the world. And I think today was supposed to be day 1. So there were thousands of them, I believe, on a beach called the Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. So while they were at his children, families, all over the place, boom, they started opening fire. What's going on? At the end of the day, right? So 2 gunmen were identified. One of them was killed. So did another 10 other people were also killed by the terrorists. So I've brought you the image, and you may be hearing this sound of gunshot and all that. I've done my best to kind of reduce the background shout, so I may put up a bit of sound to cover the gunshot sound, okay? I'll show you a clip from that scene. This happened today. Regis. Sorry about that. That's terrible. Give me a sec.
Fucking die, cunt! Die! Fuck yeah! Yeah, they got him. He's down, he's down. He's down.
I swear to God, I'm not joking. Yeah, one step shot, no more rounds. Hey, you have something on you? Don't go there, then. Don't go. You have a gun on you? The guy just got shot.
Sorry about that. I'm still having this my echoey one, okay. So please bear with me, all right? It's a shame. Right. Right. Sorry about that again, right? So that's from, Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. That happened this morning, but it was like an afternoon in Australia. So these guys showed up. Where's his face again? The main guy that was shooting that stairs. So they have a name for him. His name is something Naive or Navid Akram. So Navid Akram, who was the guy that got shot at that point, once they got neutralized. The reason why they attacked this gathering is unknown. I mean, their own personal reason, okay? However, this worldwide campaign and counter-campaign for those who are in support of the Palestine and those who are in support of Israel, and it's been like very much tense, right? However, when they opened fire on the terrorism act of October 7, 2023, we also had that played out, okay? However, targeting like Israelis or other people from outside their country is pretty much like an, extra, you would say. So now conversation is now rising on immigration, immigrants, and all of that. And the way the whole world is currently so sort of like agitated right now, the conservatives, especially those who identified as the conservatives, are pushing so much like advocacy, you would say, right? Pushing so much narratives on the kind of immigrants that these countries are now bringing in. And for those who are like myself, an immigrant, and trying to do my own best legitimately in the space I found myself, right? Or those who are being targeted because not just like they are just immigrants from a certain part of the world, but they are also of certain religion, right? So putting that spotlight on everyone, and I don't understand. I don't get it, right? So now conversation is coming up where some of the Australians are blaming their government for importing these, kind of like a military age young people from Islamic countries with extremist ideologies. The ones that once they lay their hands on, weapons, they could wreak real like, havoc. So this conversation is on. And we are suffering similar in Nigeria. When you look at those who are trying to push the ideology of their own extremism of Islam on us, people have been slaughtered, killed, shouting Allahu Akbar and killing for who? For their faith, right? But rather than for the government to actually clamp down on them, crush them, right? The government is almost in bed with them, and it's almost like the same all over the place, right? They are finding way or solution that suits people with this kind of ideology, right? Netanyahu, who has been declared, wanted, so to say, by the International Criminal Court, right, for war crime, right? He had this to say about the Australian government. He said he won them since August.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent. We fight those who try to annihilate us. They're not only trying to annihilate us, they attack us because they attack the West. In Syria, we saw yesterday 2 American soldiers killed and 1 American interpreter killed as well. Killed because they represent our common culture. Now, as a result of this, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the following. He said, "Let it be known that if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you." We send our condolences to the people of America, and I want to say that our policy is exactly that policy. That's why those who target Israelis, target our soldiers, try to kill them or try to hurt them and wound them, as happened in Gaza yesterday, we take action. They will spend the rest of their brief, anxious lives knowing that Israel will hunt them, find them, and ruthlessly dispose of them. That is American policy. This is Israel's policy. It's our policy in Gaza, in Lebanon, anywhere around us. We do not sit by and let these killers kill us.
It's just an endless one for that matter, you know? So, like I said, the way this global thing works now, yeah, from one government to another, they're all doing their best to mount pressure here and there, and their belief that that's how they're going to protect their citizens. I mean, Nigeria could have been a real place. If Nigeria was a real place, right, that Nigeria could have given millions of us the same sort of like a privilege. If you touch Nigerians anywhere, you're going to get the wrath of Nigerian government. If you touch Americans anywhere, American government is going to get interest in your case. If you touch any Israeli anywhere, just know that Netanyahu and his Mossad, they will track you down. You know, I mean, depends on what side you are. Somehow, right? You always probably will feel better when you have, leaders who indeed, right, could do anything to protect the interest of their own people. You know, but we don't have that. So yeah, that happened, and condolences to the victims, I would say, the families and all of them, because this was supposed to just be like a civil gathering. It's like you gathering together under a Christmas, probably, street Christmas lights to turn the, you know what I mean? But yeah, terrorists and the extremists would rather choose violence than dialogue, because to them, if you are not for them, then you possibly you deserve to die. And that's the level of extremism that is so widespread right now. And the internet is not helping, I'll say. But we'll go back to Niger, where the local terrorists are making the life hell or hellish for the locals, the indigenous people. The anchor story I told you earlier, here is the clip. So that's Madadaba village in Anka local government area of Zamfara state. But if you see some of the communities, they have now turned to minefield, no, not minefield, mining sites. Most of them were like bubbling towns or villages and all that. So people have been chased away or either killed or chased away. And right now in the middle of the town, you will see that they've dug different pits, different holes, different basins like that, where they are now mining, I don't know, different kinds of God knows what. You know, that is going on. Communities, villages, farms are being destroyed on a daily basis like that, getting people to migrate and move. And they are so helpless. That's the saddest part of it. It's like you see things happening and then you feel like they shouldn't be happening. Some people should have the capacity to stop this, but they are not stopping it. You know, they are doing something else. There's a leaked letter. I think I put that on the screen earlier. A leaked letter of promotion. Recently, right, the Tinubu's ADC was promoted from, I think, maybe now captain to colonel, I don't know. But right now, they have now giving him another special promotion to brigadier general. Do you know what a brigadier general means? Like you have to, before you become a brigadier general, right? No, but Tinubu gave him a triple, a quadruple promotions that seemed not to be really going down well. Going down well with some of these military guys themselves because they leaked it. It was Ribatom, NSA, that issued the letter, and the letter is to the effect that Tinubu said DC said, Mr. President's approval of special presidential promotion of Colonel Nuruddin Alowonle Yusuf to the rank of Brigadier General and retention as ADC, Commander-in-Chief, with effect from 12th of December. That was 2 days ago. How do you make somebody a Brigadier General to be standing behind the president? How could a Brigadier General be standing behind the president? Do you even understand what a Brigadier General is? And what is a special presidential promotion? I mean, he is the president, so he can do what the Scottish people call fuck all. He can do anything. But it is really lawful or not. Morally, legal, doesn't really matter. They'll find a way around it. So they are now wondering, how did this letter leak out? You know what I mean? How did this letter leak out? It's because somebody somewhere within their ranks just believes that this madness is taken too far. Let's just put it in the media. And here we are. But the people that should be having probably from the experience, the knowledge of the Brigadier General, that guy that got killed by the ISWAP about 3 weeks ago, right? He's a Brigadier General. What's a Brigadier General? His body is still with the terrorists. That killing alone, killing of that man alone, should be enough to level down all of the terrorists known base in that place. Like, you killed a Brigadier General like that on camera, shot him like just a common war. But nothing happened. They just believe that everybody will get over it. Now today they kill soldier. Now a Brigadier General is going to be standing behind the call. A Brigadier General in the army is somebody who is controlling over 4,200 men. Do you know how many battalions that would be? These are people that actually have to listen to him. These are people that takes his order. A Brigadier General. But now, this one is Oluwole, Brigadier General, if you want to put it that way. Right. Brethren, our time is pretty much up anyway, right? So I am going to say a big thank you to all of you again for coming to the Sunday sermon. We'll see you another time, okay? But please like the broadcast if you haven't already, okay? Like the broadcast, share it, and and I will see you another time. You have a great week. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.